Hello everyone, and welcome back to Game Break, the full coverage writer's presentation where we explore the plot behind some of our favorite video games.
Nothing at all.
Will here,
Phantoms
returning
in
once
the
again to
wind.
the depths of rapture as we continue along in BioShock 2. Finally, we've removed the security in Fontaine Futuristics and can get to the true Plasma Labs, where Alex the Great is waiting for us. Let's see what a healthy dose of Adam really does to a person.
I was to be Sophia Lamb's greatest achievement, a living composite of all Rapture's genius in the body of a single man, unfettered by self-interest. Now, I am nothing more to her than a failed experiment. My scores on tests of intelligence and moral reasoning are still noteworthy, but declining sharply. She has abandoned me, and I do not have long before psychosis takes me.
So then, Sophia Lamb's original plan involved Gil Alexander, not Eleanor. How strange. And, not surprisingly, the moment the experiment failed, she left him behind. How sad for Gil. Well, looks like we're heading out back into the ocean. Time to get wet. Back out into the beauty of the open sea. Huh. Well, I guess we go down here. Ooh, this guy didn't survive the trip.
As I recall from my time doing business with the owners, that oxyfill station out there is just a front for a kinda hidden passage leading down below. If Lamb's hiding Eleanor from you, that's where she'll be.
How sneaky. Though I have to wonder why Sinclair would know about this. Sure, it's not surprising that he dealt with the people from Fontaine Futuristics, but why would he know about their secret lab entrance? Back inside we go. Oh, it's dark in there. Oh, I don't like it when it's dark. I don't like not being able to see where I'm going. And there's weird glowing plants on the wall. Ooh, and they're goopy. Hypnotic polyps? Actually, they look a lot like the hypnotized plasmid. This plant must be related to that plasmid in some way. Freaky. Specimen containment. Exactly where I want to go. Oh, and it's super dark in here. Why does my light not reach? Oh.
I'm afraid the lights in here sting my eyes terribly now. Until you arrive to deal with me, they will remain off. Please, locate the breakers and flip them, and then return here to restore power.
So I have to go exploring out in the creepy dark to flip some breakers so I can turn the lights back on. This has horror movie cliche written all over it. run into a spliced up Freddy Krueger, I know it. Oh, and there's the spooky fog and everything. What is this, Silent Hills? Holding cells. No, sir. I don't like it. Okay, there's one breaker. Now to find the other one. It's eerie that there are no enemies in this super dark, foggy area, though. So far, I think this is the creepiest place I've been to down here. Pacification chamber? Oh, that sounds lovely. And breaker number 2. Alright, now I guess I can turn the lights on and hopefully nothing will go wrong. At least I'll finally be able to see. I'm not sure if I want to. Here goes nothing.
Sophia and I knew that to create the first true utopian would come at a high cost, my friend. We needed someone to be host to all that Adam, Rapture's finest minds, a willing subject, that is to say, myself.
What could go wrong? Oh, what?
Whatever you may have seen inside the tank, that was indeed me. I fear the fate of Eleanor Lamb will be less physical, but no less grotesque. This tank for deep-sea life is the ideal way to dispose of me. But first, you must retrieve enough Adam-infused plant life to lure me out. The slugs feed on the stuff, and it's all I seem to want now. I have left a sample here, so you know what to look for.
Oh, so that giant thing is Alex the
I
Great?
see you out there, Delta. You want to be top man, hmm? You want to sit in the big chair? Well, come and take it.
Uh-oh. And here's the big guys. That's still freaky. So they basically tried to use Adam to put the minds of all the smartest people of Rapture into Gil, so that he could be the utopian leader, probably combining it with what Sophia learned about what happened to Jack.
Well, listen, son, those override keys you've been hunting are genetically encoded. And to get to Eleanor, you're gonna need one from Alex the Great in there. First things first, we gotta pin him down, find those plants he mentioned, and lure him back out.
Right, so we need the giant monster version of Alex the Great in order to get onto the secret base. In order to do that, we need these Adam-infused plants to lure him out, because all he craves now is Adam, which is typical of most overly spliced creatures. And I've seen that the splicers have been horribly disfigured, but that was insane. I had wondered if Alex the Great was the result of an accident. I didn't think it was Sophia's big plan to create the utopian leader. And now she wants to do the same thing to Eleanor? Ugh. There's something definitely wrong with Sophia Lamb. Funding a utopia is not bad, but at what cost?
Sophia believes the perfect human altruist is just a formula, waiting on us to solve for X. Intelligence and consciousness are not the same, she argued. Awareness of self naturally becomes obsession with it. So, if we could suppress my sense of self, but imbue me with the cognitive capacity to serve the common welfare, we could thereby generate the first utopian. And then, Sophia said, at long last, utopia would follow.
So basically, she wants to use the brainwashing they used on Jack to create someone who would simply act for the greater interest of a whole community, but give him the intellect of all the combined greatest minds in Rapture? And through that you'd have a utopia? I mean, I guess it makes sense in a weird, freaky, hypothetical sense, but instead we get a giant mutant monster that is really freaky and likes to fire people. I guess they didn't solve for X quite correctly. Oh, interesting. Those little polyps are like free hypnosis plasmids. That could come in handy if I can weaponize that.
Well, that's the end of the Alpha series. The pair bond simply worked too well. That madwoman Tannenbaum bit the company hand, turning some of the bonded sisters human again. Others were lost to splicers. Either way, the trauma proved too much for the bonded protectors, resulting in unreasoning rage or coma. We can harness their suicidal aggression as foot soldiers, but no more, I'm afraid. Today I saw one kneeling near a gatherer's garden and crying.
Ooh. So that's why we didn't see any Alpha series in BioShock 1. They just didn't exist anymore. After the little sisters were removed from their care, they either went crazy or went depressed, or fell into a coma. I don't even want to think about a Big Daddy just crying. It sounds horrifically sad. And of course, the ones we're fighting are probably the ones that just went totally rage-induced insane. So, this is the test subject pacification chamber? Oh, that doesn't sound good. I don't even want to know what they were doing in here, and why. There was a lot of technically illegal and immoral stuff going on down here. I could just feel it. This place also sounds like it's about to collapse on my head. But at least I can see. And there's my flower. What the? Where's that music coming from? It wasn't music before. No, I don't like this. Someone's messing with me. I'm getting out of here. Uh-oh.
We can't have you running around the laboratories in your condition.
Uh-oh. Oh, this is not good.
Oh, your eyes out!
Oh, not good.
You animal!
is looking for you. Taking out your gun must find sanctuary. Here's your treatment.
Well, I pacified those guys. That was not cool, though.
Poor things. What a life. Marching around, playing daddy, until some splicer manages to kill off their sister. And then if the coma doesn't take them, they turn maniac. Nothing left to do but scream. No offense intended, son. We better get you to Eleanor, on the double.
Your body begins to tear itself apart. The compulsion to find Eleanor will drive you to madness or coma. You have no claim on her. Your design was among Rapture's greatest sins. And yet, you persist. Why?
Because we must. Because Eleanor needs us. It does feel like we're a bit stronger than the others if we're able to resist coma and madness this long. Then again, it probably helps that Eleanor is still keeping in contact with us as best she can.
Dr. Alexander has agreed to accept both measures of the new utopian project. He will become a kind of genetic chimera, host to all the minds of Rapture, accessing their talents and memories via the Adam we have gathered. And deriving in part from Project WYK, I have developed a new set of behavioral constraints. Dr. Alexander will live to promote the common good. His love and loyalty shall be spread evenly across the entire human race. For me, that is discipline at great personal cost. For him, at last, it will be instinct.
Something very much went a little wrong with that plan, apparently.
Dirty hair.
So as creepy as it sounds, it seems the plan was to take all the thoughts and memories and knowledge of all the people of Rapture through the Atom and implant it into Gil Alexander, combining it with the Would You Kindly protocol. But instead of just brainwashing Gil to do whatever you tell him to do when you ask him, would you kindly, they instead were going to program him to act in the common good. Instead, it turned him into some kind of giant fish monster? That definitely went horribly, horribly wrong. And again, now she plans on doing that to Eleanor. What makes her think it's going to come out any differently? Even Gil said that while the physical changes may not be there, mentally the poor girl may still get quite horribly changed. Sophia Lamb is one of those people that can't see the forest for the trees, or however that saying is. She sees one end result and can't possibly see any sign of failure. If you do get failure, then apparently you just try again, no matter the cost. But then again, I guess such was the way down here in Rapture. And another Big Daddy down. Wait, what?
Ask yourself, Mr. Meltzer. Is it better to be summarily executed as an outsider caught within these grounds? Or to be united not just with your daughter Cindy, but with the Rapture family as well? The choice is yours. I urge you to accept the Protector program. You will live by her side and remember nothing beyond your love for her.
I wasn't the first to find Rapture, you crazy bitch. And I won't be the last. You do whatever you want to me. As long as I'm with Cindy, I'm a happy man.
Oh. So that's the fate of Mark Meltzer.
He's nicer than other dads.
Hello, Cindy. I'm assuming that's you. So then that big sister must have captured Mark and brought him to Sophia, who turned him into a big daddy under the promise of letting him protect his daughter Cindy. And he gave in because, as far as he could probably tell, it was the only solution he had. There was no apparent cure for little Cindy, for being a little sister. But if he could be by her side as her protector, I guess he was okay with it. And now, it seems, we've put him out of his misery. Honestly, I didn't even know that was Mark Meltzer until after I killed him. I just wanted the little sister because I need the atom. Oh, man. What's this?
This is where they bound us together, Father. Playing God. You were the only good thing that Rapture ever gave me.
Oh. Oh, this is where they make the big daddies and bind them. So they put the little sister in the chair, and the big daddy gets bound in that thing over there, and then they do whatever it is they do to bind the big daddy to the little sister.
She was not meant to have a father, Delta. She was to be an heir to my life's work. And this is where they changed her, bonding her to you. The child she was died in this room.
Well, I mean, you can't blame us for that. It's not Delta's fault that happened. We already know that that was the actions of other people like Gil Alexander and Stanley Poole. But honestly, it doesn't seem like Eleanor really wants to be the product of your life's work anyway, so really, for her, it's 1/2 of the other. A horrible life either way.
Mother has destroyed Dr. Alexander. She tried to splice him into some kind of living saint who would calculate the common good and adhere to it tirelessly. But now he's become something unspeakable. Mother's philosophy is just as corrupt as Ryan's. By her standards, it would be better to have the entire world equally miserable than to allow us to strive in our own behalf. I have to get out of here.
For as brilliant as Sophia Lamb believed herself to be, it seems that her young daughter Eleanor was indeed smarter. She knew what Sophia was trying to do was wrong, and just as corrupt. And she knew she had to get out of here before it was too late.
I know who you are, and you don't scare me.
Nothing. Just some vandals, I suppose.
I visited Eve's garden today. Ended poorly. My seed sold to the enemy. The motive of the war as yet eludes me. But Atlas approaches. And come what may, I will not be made a slave. I wonder, in according do I confess? Just now, Sinclair saw me in the corridor, perhaps reading my face. The bastard looked me right in the eye and suggested I make an appointment with Dr. Lamb.
Oh my. So that does answer a few questions that were probably assumed from BioShock 1. Since Jack was Andrew Ryan's son with the woman from the brothel, I forget her name now. She apparently sold the young boy out to Atlas, Frank Fontaine, to create the brainwashing setup with the would you kindly scenario. And of course, perhaps Sinclair knew about it. He certainly thought himself quite the little jokester for suggesting that Andrew Ryan, of all people, go to visit Sophia Lamb. Poor Andrew Ryan.
Must be mice. I must have the boy set some traps.
Clinic, smelling like everywhere. It smells like Dad.
My lantern's lit. I'll find you. I do hope
That was the last flower.
All right, sport. Time to feed the fish. Head on back to Alexander's tank and put those plants in.
Sure thing, Sinclair. As soon as I'm done fighting through this army of
But we
splicers.
should bring the hounds in from the stables, just the same.
Turns out that
Poor Gilbert. It was his will to die, Delta. To serve the majority by protecting them from his lunacy. Your entire journey here is based on your refusal to do the same. Will you grant his request, knowing that he served the family?
Rebirth, huh? Sure, you live forever, but minus your body. I like my body, kid. I don't feature the idea of my memories and personality being stored in the head of some saintly child, like just one more dusty old book in the library.
Gotta say, I'm with Sinclair on this one. The whole idea is rather freaky, and while in theory sound to Sophia Lamb's idea of a utopia, would anyone of any sane mind really want to basically die and have their thoughts and memories just stored in another person and hope for the best? Sophia Lamb believes so heavily that her plan is the right plan that she really refuses to acknowledge that she could possibly be doing the wrong thing. Like every other scientist and person of intelligence down here in Rapture, Sophia Lamb is crazy. All the more reason to stop her and rescue before Eleanor before it's too late.
We put our eldest sister through a new regimen of physical and mental conditioning and suited her up with modified protector equipment of my design. The younger ones have dubbed her a big sister. Sadly, this is a stopgap. Between rogue splicers and the aging of the girls, we'll run out of viable little sisters soon. After that, the surface may be our only source.
So that confirms it. After they ran out of little sisters down here in Rapture because of either splicers getting them or them growing up and being made into big sisters, Gil and Sophia decided that they would have to send said big sisters up to the surface to kidnap little girls and turn them into more little sisters to gather at them. Because apparently, you know, when we're trying to create a utopia under the water and put everybody's mind into the body of a single person, I mean, sacrifices have to be made, including kidnapping young, innocent girls from the surface. Yeah, that makes sense.
Even Daddy's toys have toys.
And on that note, we're all out of time for today. I want to thank you all for joining me for another great episode of Game Break. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe to our channel at Full Coverage Writers for more great videos from us. And as always, feel free to continue the conversation in the comments section below. And until next time, get out there, be creative, and be awesome.
A living composite of all Rapture's genius in the body of a single man, unfettered by self-interest. Now, I am nothing more to her than a failed experiment. My scores on tests of intelligence and moral reasoning are still noteworthy, but declining sharply. She has abandoned me, and I do not have long before psychosis takes me.
So then, Sophia Lamb's original plan involved Gil Alexander, not Eleanor. How strange. And, not surprisingly, the moment the experiment failed, she left him behind. How sad for Gil. Well, looks like we're heading out back into the ocean. Time to get wet. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Game Break, the full coverage writer's presentation where we explore the plot behind some of our favorite video games.
Nothing at all.
Will here,
Phantoms
returning
in
once
the
again to
wind.
the depths of rapture as we continue along in BioShock 2. Finally, we've removed the security in Fontaine Futuristics and can get to the true Plasma Labs, where Alex the Great is waiting for us. Let's see what a healthy dose of Adam really does to a person.
I was to be Sophia Lamb's greatest achievement.
Oh, and it's super dark in here. Why does my light not reach? Oh,
I'm afraid the lights in here sting my eyes terribly now. Until you arrive to deal with me, they will remain off. Please, locate the breakers and flip them, and then return here to restore power.
so I have to go exploring out in the creepy dark to flip some breakers so I can turn the lights back on. This has horror movie cliche written all over it. I'm gonna run into a spliced up Freddy Krueger, I know it. Oh, and there's the spooky fog and everything. What is this, Silent Hills? Holding cells. No, sir. I don't like it. Okay, there's one breaker. Back inside we go. Oh, it's dark in there. Oh, I don't like it when it's dark. I don't like not being able to see where I'm going. And there's weird glowing plants on the wall. Ooh, and they're goopy. Hypnotic polyps? Actually, they look a lot like the hypnotized plasmid. This plant must be related to that plasmid in some way. Freaky. Specimen containment. Exactly where I want to go. Back out into the beauty of the open sea. Huh. Well, I guess we go down here. This guy didn't survive the trip.
As I recall from my time doing business with the owners, that oxyfill station out there's just a front for a kinda hidden passage leading down below. If Lamb's hiding Eleanor from you, that's where she'll be.
How sneaky. Though I have to wonder why Sinclair would know about this. Sure, it's not surprising that he dealt with the people from Fontaine Futuristics, but why would he know about their secret lab entrance?